Stop the presses, stop the presses. Quick update here on everyone's favorite AI stock, Nvidia Corporation, ticker symbol NVDA. Of course, this was the big day that everybody was waiting for, forgetting about the Fed and whatnot, because even when we drop, we basically rebound for no reason, in my opinion. But everyone wanted to see what Nvidia was going to report, and of course, they reported what everyone expected. I have to pat myself on the back, and let's give some credit where credit is due, because I did do a video a couple of hours ago before earnings, and I did say that chances are we would see $1,000+, which in my opinion is incoming, even though it doesn't deserve it in my eyes. And then, of course, I said that chances are they were going to split again, and that is exactly what the company announced. Nvidia forecast second quarter revenue above estimates on Wednesday and announced a 10-for-1 forward stock split, impressing investors who have already tripled the chip maker's market value in the past year on AI optimism. Shares climbed 4% after the bell. AI poster child risen more than 90% so far this year. Screw it, why not? Let's just hand them hundreds of billions of dollars so they can probably take over the world. Demand for Nvidia's chips stand unparalleled as enterprises spend billions to procure advanced semiconductors to power data centers capable of processing complex AI tasks. Alphabet, Microsoft, Amazon, and other technology companies have competed for a limited supply of Nvidia's high-end chips as they race to dominate AI computing. Nvidia's contract chip maker, Taiwan Semiconductor, has also been working to increase its advanced packaging capacity, a key supply chain constraint for the processors. Taiwanese company said in April it expects to more than double its advanced packaging capacity this year. So we know probably right off the bat, TSM is probably a buy, in my opinion. The company forecasts second quarter revenue of $28 billion, plus or minus 2%. Analysts on average were expecting revenue of $26.66 billion. Nvidia reported first quarter revenue of $26.04 billion, beating estimates of $24.65 billion. What did I say? Literally, I literally looked at this company hours ago and I said, based on how the company is growing and how they're lowballing, essentially handing this company higher and higher capital appreciation, I said that on estimates of $24.65 billion, the company's probably going to post like $26.25 billion, and they come in $26.04 billion. Who's better than your boy right now? So when you see the writing on the wall, you essentially know what's coming, so to speak, and we can see that, again, we were lowballing estimates moving forward, and they're already saying that on this $26.6 billion estimate for next quarter, they're looking for at least $28 billion plus. So, you know, just consider, even with the demand going through the roof and them being the Lone Star winning horse in the sector, they are still somehow significantly below estimates on revenue for what the company is actually doing. Where is the pump up? Where is the pump up? How come this estimate wasn't $29.5 billion? Where is the pump on the estimate side? But I'm not going to get excited. So, of course, as these estimates are continue to be like softball, you know, little underhand tossed for Nvidia, yeah, they're going to continue to beat these estimates and they're going to continue to climb. Strong forecast driven by demand for chips from businesses adopting AI technology. There you go. Let's just go up 93% year to date. Mind you, we're not even halfway through the year yet, but the stock is up another 93% from the bull drop. Gaming revenue up to $2.6 billion. Honestly, I don't remember what it was the last quarter or two, so I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but chances are it's probably up. Automotive robotics revenue, $329 million, up 11%. Very impressive. I mean, again, I'm not knocking the company. We know the company's a powerhouse. It's just not worth $3 trillion, but, you know, we'll put that to the side. Trading expected to commence split adjusted basis at market open June 10th. Okay, so yeah, it's about 3 weeks. It's about 2.5 weeks. Here we go. Q1 gaming revenue up 18%. I mean, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. These Q2 GAAP and adjusted operating expenses about $4 billion and $2.8 billion respectively. You know, again, you're bringing in, you know, 25-30 billion a quarter, so those expenses are essentially a drop in the bucket. Sees Q2 GAAP and adjusted gross margins 74.8% and 75.5% respectively, plus or minus 50 basis points. Just phenomenal numbers. Nvidia sees fiscal year gross margins in mid 70% range. Q1 data center revenue at 22.6 billion versus the estimates of 21.3 billion. See what I mean? See these estimates? How can you be off by over $1 billion, right? And when we look at other companies, they'll barely beat out estimates, right? I mean, think about it. Gaming revenue at 2.6 billion versus consensus of 2.62 billion. Ooh, right? So that initially was their bread and butter, if you remember where the company came from. It was all about the gaming revenue on the graphics cards. And then, of course, we essentially began to turn our automobiles into mobile computers, basically. So they all needed graphics cards. And obviously that helped add to the acceleration. And then, of course, we have the AI boom, which is just the cherry on top right now. So as we see, the gaming revenue is now only essentially like 10% of the revenue that they're bringing in, which is basically a drop in the bucket. Sees Q2 revenue 28 billion plus or minus 2%. Up, this is saying effective June 7th. Okay. But 10-for-1 split, raises quarterly dividends, about time, to 10 cents versus 4 cents. Whoa, you shouldn't have. But hey, it helps, right? Nvidia Q1 professional visualization revenue at 427 million versus analyst consensus of 483.6 million. But chances are that'll probably start growing too inside of the next couple of quarters. Auto revenue at 329 million versus consensus of 290.4 million. Nice beat there above what analysts were expecting. That's like a 10% beat right there above expectations. Split will be effected through amendment to restate its certificate of incorporation. Stock split to make stock ownership more accessible to employees and investors. Yep. Yep. And I can't wait for after it gets more inflated and then does the 10-for-1 stock split, I can't wait for it to rally another 7, 8, 10% on that day of splitting. Probably going to happen. Betting on insatiable demand, industry-leading chips. Again with the 28 billion, right? Somehow we're always 1.5, 2 billion above estimates, no matter what the estimates are. Again, amazing. Truly amazing. 28 billion. I just love all the posts because of how popular this company is. That's what I mean. The whole world needs this company to remain strong and keep beating estimates. Otherwise, in my eyes, the entire market could immediately lose like 10-15% instantaneously. But EPS here, 612 a share versus street estimates of 558. This company is wildly profitable. Raises quarter dividend 1 cent on post-split base. Oh, okay. 10-for-1 forward stock split June 7th. Here we go. Look at all the articles here, right? That's what I mean. The whole world has to make sure that they're covering this stock. And also, more importantly, we have to make sure, again, in my eyes, that we kind of lowball these estimates consistently, no matter how much demand is coming in for the stock, because we need them to keep beating earnings to help keep our markets up, in my opinion. That's the way I'm looking at it. But let's see. So we're up 18% from Q4 and up 262% from a year ago. Yep. Record quarterly data center revenue of 22.6 billion, up 23% from Q4, over 400% from a year ago. I mean, you can't bash them too much. Again, we could make the argument that they're overvalued, but the business itself is absolutely phenomenal. And again, I know a lot of people may not believe me, and I'll be honest, a lot of the brokers who were salty that I was just a junior broker who made a phenomenal call like this on Nvidia, I said all the way back in like 2012, 2013, before all those splits, I said in that firm, I said, you all should be buying your clients' Nvidia shares. The stock is at 8.5. It is going to potentially change the world. Years down the road, it is going to turn out to be a massive investment. 6 months later, the stock was at 26.5, up over 200%. Just from the time I personally said to buy it, and now, of course, through all of these stock splits and continued growth and appreciation, you know, I'm sure if you pull up a calculator, you can see how much just a couple of thousand back in the day would be worth right now. But, I pat myself on the back enough. Let's not hurt my own hand doing so. For the quarter, GAAP earnings diluted was $5.98, up 21%, up over 600% from a year ago. Non-GAAP earnings up 19% from the previous quarter, 460% from a year ago. Quote, the next industrial revolution has begun. Companies and countries are partnering with Nvidia to shift the trillion-dollar traditional data centers to accelerated computing and build a new type of data center, AI factories, to produce a new commodity, artificial intelligence, said founder and CEO. Quote, AI will bring significant productivity gains to nearly every industry and help companies be more cost and energy efficient while expanding revenue opportunities. And we spoke about this, I don't know, 6 months ago, nine months ago. We spoke about how Nvidia was probably going to keep and maintain that strong demand, and everyone was going to continue to do business with them because they're going to start implementing AI across every single business sector. And I said that, in my opinion, every company from A to Z, big to small, is going to start incorporating AI into their business for things like this: increase productivity, increase their energy efficiency, everything across the board. How are my employees doing? What products should I focus on? What shouldn't I focus on? So now we have potentially reached the point to where the average businessman or woman completely shuts their brain off and goes straight to the computer to find out exactly what they need to do, right? So now we're being told what to do. We are no longer being really innovative in and of ourselves, in our own minds, in my opinion. That's the way I'm looking at it, which of course will probably lead to less imaginative products and services moving forward, and of course complacency and laziness, more than likely, which is already an issue, in my opinion, in this country as well, but I can't speak for others. Quote, our data center growth was fueled by strong and accelerating demand for generative AI training and inference on the Hopper platform. Beyond cloud service provider, generative AI expanded to consumer internet companies and enterprise, sovereign AI, automotive, healthcare, creating multiple multi-billion-dollar vertical markets. Quote, we are poised for our next wave of growth. Blackwell platform is in full production and forms the foundation for trillion parameter scale generative AI. Spectrum X opens a brand new market for us to bring large-scale AI to Ethernet-only data centers, and Nvidia NIM is our new software offering that delivers enterprise-grade optimized generative AI to run on CUDA everywhere, from the cloud to on-prem data centers and RTX AI PCs through our expansive network of ecosystem partners. And also remind you not to bring up another up-and-comer that may not be overvalued here at the moment. We've spoken highly about SoundHound AI, SOUN, here on this channel, and what was the update? Oh my goodness. Oh my. Okay. So there was the, it was the AI voice assistant collab with Nvidia, if you recall, so that you can have like an off-network voice AI assistant, even if there is no connectivity. Do you recall that? It was an update, a couple of videos back, but again, everyone and their brother is basically tapping Nvidia. 10-for-1 forward stock split, more accessible to employees and investors. Your chances are, in my opinion, your employees have enough money after this ridiculous, insane growth from your stock. So this was more for you guys, not really for the employees. But, they got to say the correct PC thing. The split will be effected through an amendment to NVIDIA's, which will proportionally increase the number of shares. Each record share, June 6th, will receive 9 additional shares of common stock to be distributed after the close of market on Friday, June 7th. Okay, and that's why they were saying initially in the first article that it will be, it will be like updated and actually implemented that following Monday, June 10th. Trading is expected to commence on a split-adjusted basis. Market open Monday, June 10th. There you go. Nvidia is increasing its quarterly dividend by 150% from 4 cents to 10 cents. Woo! The increased dividend is equivalent to 1 cent per share on a post-split basis and will be paid on Friday, June 28th to all shareholders on record Tuesday, June 11th. Again, the difference between our ex-dividend date and our payment date. Our ex-dividend date is the date that we must be a shareholder on record by June 11th is our ex-dividend date to receive our dividend payment date, which comes out on June 28th. But, I mean, honestly, we don't even have to look at these numbers. I mean, revenue is up nicely. Gross margin, look at that, gained about 2.5%. Expenses went up about 10%, but it doesn't matter. It's a drop in the bucket. Operating income went up about $3 billion and change. Net income up about 2. EPS up almost over a full dollar, excuse me. Gross margin up. Expenses... Diluted per share up almost a dollar as well. Operating expenses are expected to grow in the low 40 range. There you go. Nothing like having a $3 trillion company, but you know, your tax rate is roughly 17% supposedly, but we know there's more behind the scenes. Okay, we looked at pretty much all of this, right? Again, like I said, I'm not bashing the company. It's just the fact that we took this way too high, way too quick. So that's why I always say, again, I know, you know, they beat again and forecast looks bright and the future looks bright and demand is strong and staying up. But again, if markets do potentially start selling off and correcting, a company like Nvidia can easily drop 50-60% from this current value, in my opinion, and it would be justified in my eyes. Work with Johnson & Johnson, bring AI capabilities to support surgery, right? This is what I'm saying. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Gaming revenue down 8% from the previous quarter, but up 18% from a year ago. Down 8% though, but we know that was Q4 for them. Yeah, right? That was so that was kind of like the holiday season. So we kind of know that that's where they would probably generate the most gaming revenue. Introduce new AI gaming technologies at GDC for Nvidia Ace and Neural Graphics. Okay. For Windows to deliver maximum performance on Nvidia GeForce RTX AI PCs and workstations, of course, because they can't have Windows slow them down. Windows now has to play the catch-up game. Someone just messaged me, my apologies. Announced more blockbuster games that will incorporate RTX technologies, including Star Wars Outlaws and Black Myth Wukong. Honestly, I never heard of that one, but Star Wars, we know they'll always continue to keep making games and movies and beat you over the head with all this new nonsense. Added support for new models. Yep, chatbot. Everyone's got our own chatbots now. Okay, Omniverse Cloud APIs, including an expanded partnership with Siemens, right? Again, technically healthcare space, and a new framework for the Apple Vision Pro. Earth 2 Cloud API, Weather Company, Central Weather Administration of Taiwan, high-resolution global climate simulations. I mean, you name it, they're involved in it. Right? So this company literally has a finger in almost every single pie for almost every company in almost every sector around the world, basically, for the most part. Announced BYD, XPeng, Hyperneuro, and others chosen next generation NVIDIA, of course, which now features Blackwell GPU architecture. Of course. Revealed US and China EV makers Lucid and IM Motors are using NVIDIA, of course, for vehicle models, because they basically have to. Announced an array of partners that are using to transform in-vehicle experiences. Including SoundHound, if you recall. Introduced the Project Group Foundation model for humanoid robots and major Isaac Robotics platform updates. Great. I can't wait for iRobot to come true so that we can have a civil war with the robots. Okay. Okay, we talk about non-GAAP. And that is basically all you need to know. It's what it seems like anyway. Going on for even longer than I wanted to. We're already over 20 minutes for the video. I just wanted to do a quick update. Yep, revenue above estimates. Yep. Did we miss anything? Stock split. Just amazing across the board, honestly amazing. And this is why, again, that's why, again, not to bring up, past calls, but again, this is why like 10, 12 years ago, I was saying like you have to invest into Nvidia. Like the people who don't see it, it breaks my heart, because we saw the shift of all the technology being implemented and added to just the automobile sector alone. And I said, in my opinion, if we're going to have a touchscreen PC in the center of our cars, it's going to have to be NVIDIA graphic chips in these systems. And it just continued to grow and continued to explode. But yeah, as we see again, look, still looking at FFIE. Let's bring back up NVIDIA. Top Bollinger Band 975, stock hit 997.90, which means in my opinion it's going here at least 999.70. Right now 987.5, we'll call it. I think that was one of our pivot points. Top Bollinger Band on the weekly 1048.18, which of course is possible. The MACD is going to cross back to the upside. The RSI is going to shoot well back above 70, as it's been on multiple occasions. Because again, this is one of the few stocks that just doesn't have any rules. Top 745. No. What were we? Well, I could have swore we were looking at 980 something, weren't we? Unless maybe it was one of the fib levels, perhaps. My apologies. But what was this previous? 987.18 about, and the stock, well, now it just dropped a couple of dollars, but we were here at about 987 on two occasions, it looks like, right there and right there. So chances are over 1,000, basically as predicted. And of course, again, I said once they hit the 1,000 mark, the stock split is probably going to be incoming, and that was announced today, along with, of course, a big beat on those lowball estimates, and of course, also forecasting that next quarter. By the way, we're up at 28 billion. You thought we were going to still be at 26.6 billion. So, again, regardless of how one may personally feel about the situation, at the end of the day, we do have to call it like we see it. The company is growing like an absolute animal and is basically just releasing nothing but positivity, consistently collabing and signing and getting contracts and deals from almost every single company underneath the sun. And in my opinion, it's probably going to stay that way for the foreseeable future, at least for right now. And I'm going to end it there. Because, how much could you blow one stock, right? So once again, this is Stocks by the Numbers. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop it down in the comments section. I'm usually very quick to reply. Thumbs up algorithm helps me get more eyes on the channel. And of course, subscribe to the channel. That is our handshake agreement. That's all I ask. That is how you help me help you. But more importantly, moving forward, like I always say, I understand that markets are rocky and volatile and uncertain. So I want to wish all of you success. I hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day.